Joe Giglio for NJ Sports Now on this Thursday, April the 9th. 3 weeks from tonight, the NFL Draft, the first round, will be upon us. And with the Philadelphia Eagles, the last few weeks have been quiet after a rush of moves to reshape a team that had gone 10-6 in both of Chip Kelly's first 2 years. The Eagles have suddenly gone quiet, suddenly gone dormant here in terms of big moves. Now, this was, bound to happen here. How many big moves can they make in the offseason? But the other thing it's done is take the Eagles out of the spotlight for a few weeks and put a damper on some of the major rumors around the Eagles and what they might do in the first round of the draft. There was, a little rumor that came out a couple days ago. Mark Eckel of NJ.com wrote about it, talking about Johnny Manziel and the idea the Eagles might trade Sam Bradford to the Browns, bring back Manziel, all, of course, in a ploy to go up and get Marcus Mariota. Now, since Sam Bradford arrived to the Eagles, the chatter about Mariota calmed down a little bit because the Eagles rolled him out there. Chip Kelly compared him in one way or another like to other quarterbacks that were injured and went on to have great careers, including Drew Brees. Talked about accuracy, talked about Tom Brady. He threw out all these superlatives that it did cool a little bit all of the fervor around a potential deal for Marcus Mariota. Well, 3 weeks before the draft, one of the big reasons why many people around the Eagles say it can't happen, it won't happen, is you can't mortgage the future. And the Eagles can't just give up all their draft picks to go out and get this guy because it would gut the roster. Well, look at what the Eagles have done under the radar. Forget for a second the whole Manziel plot and all that stuff. Just look at what the Eagles have done the last 2 or 3 weeks while no one has been paying attention. The guys they've brought in here and the moves they've made. Number one, re-signing DeMeco Ryans to a longer-term deal. They're not cutting DeMeco Ryans now, which was, a pretty prevailing thought when they traded for Kiko Alonso from the Buffalo Bills. How many middle linebackers could you have here in this 3-4? And the Eagles could tell you about all the depth they want, but now they have Michael Kendricks. They have Kiko Alonso, two guys you look at to be stars together, young stars in the middle. And, of course, they have DeMeco Ryans. That's 3 for 2 spots. Then you go to the cornerback situation where they just signed a depth guy in E.J. Biggers, not a big name at all, but someone with the ability to play slot corner. They also signed Walter Thurman during their rush, another guy that has the ability to play slot corner. What does that bring you to? It brings you to how much depth the Eagles have at certain positions and how those players, Michael Kendricks, now possibly, fighting for playing time. And the same thing with Brandon Boykin. They brought in 2 more slot corners. Neither of those guys are signed past this coming season. And it makes you think about the Eagles and what they have and maybe what they could move in a deal to go up and still get Marcus Mariota. Look, if Sam Bradford has himself first-round value in this draft in terms of what teams would give for him, and then you take into account that maybe the Eagles don't really need Michael Kendricks. Maybe they don't need Brandon Boykin, and there certainly has been no rush here to give those guys long-term contracts. In fact, there's been more of a rush to bring in depth behind them, possibly depth that could fill in for them. So when you're looking at why there still is a shot here, that there's a chance the Eagles go get Mariota, look at the depth they've signed behind guys that look like trade chips. They could trade a Kendricks. They could trade a Boykin. They could trade a Sam Bradford to get their way up into the draft. Then you throw the whole subplot in that Elliott Shore-Parks wrote about yesterday, that the team isn't selling Sam Bradford jerseys on their pro shop. You add it all together, 3 weeks to go before the first round of the NFL Draft, and even though the rumors have died down, even though the fervor has died down, even though the talk has died down, I don't believe the Eagles are done in their pursuit of Marcus Mariota, and if you say they don't have the depth to do it, well, while you haven't been paying attention, while the last 3 weeks have been quiet for the Eagles, they've assembled the depth not to trade picks, but to trade players in a move to go get Marcus Mariota. I'm Joe Giglio for NJ Sports Now.